It is what it is.
Let's move on to top 5 fights of the year. So are we going to do personal top 5s, or are we just going to agree on this one? Or do you have your own top 5?
No. So your, in mind, five are the same. So let's just bring it up.
The 5 are the same?
Yep, 5
or
is,
the order is different?
No. Number 5 is the same. So your
okay.
number 5 is my number 5.
Oh, cool. So then my number 5 is Holloway Rodriguez, dude. That was a fucking banger.
It was.
And I can't believe Yair Rodriguez was as competitive as he was with the greatest boxer in the UFC. We were all kind of expecting Max Holloway to go in there and beat his ass like he did with Calvin Gator in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And not only that, but I mean the way and the effectiveness of Yair Rodriguez. I mean, let's keep in mind. Let's remember Max Holloway and Calvin Gator, right? Calvin couldn't touch Max. The fact that Yair was able to go out there and keep it super competitive and land massive shots on Max Holloway was super impressive, especially after the layoff that he had, well over a year. You know, to come back and have that much ferocity and no ring rust at all, or octagon rust, whatever you want to call it, was very impressive. And that's why this fight just it checked all the boxes for me, man. This was one of my favorite fights of this year, and that's why it made my top 5.
Absolutely.
All right, what is your number 4, Tabor?
It's Burgos and Barboza.
Okay.
The fucking banger of the century, dude. And then the delayed knockout at the end was scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Really had me nervous there for Burgos. But, I mean, just the way this man just goes out there and just throws with reckless abandonment like that, it makes for extremely entertaining fights. And Edson Barboza, just fucking complete savage that he is, to do that with that man, it's just, it deserves all the respect in the world there.
Yeah, my number 4, this was one of the greatest moments in podcast history, and we had a lot of laughs. People really enjoyed this. And that is the Ngannou versus Stipe 2 fight. Guys,
that's your fight of the year? One of your number 4 fight of the year?
That's number 4, yeah.
That's just personal. That's just got to be like your most entertaining for you, right?
Yeah, yes.
Because like in terms of technicality and bangers, like
right. And that's where maybe I am a little biased there, but I don't know. I think just everything surrounding that fight and the hype surrounding it and just how much fun, I mean, minus you, but like how much fun we had on that fight.
I had a blast.
Like that is something that I'll always remember. Like that was one of like the real moments in our podcast history where we were like, oh wow. Cause you know, that kind of went viral, like that KO reaction. We had like 20,000 views or something on that. And that's when I was really like, wow, we could do this. Mm-hmm. Like this is great. So yeah, I'm a little biased there, but I thought that was number 4.
All right. Cool.
We have the same number 3 though.
Mine's Reyes Prochazka.
Yep.
It's got to be, dude. This is a tough year for fight of the year because that could easily be number 1 any other year. Mm-hmm. Any other year. The banger that was happening. So much damage on both sides. Reyes throwing. And then for Jiri to get the spinning elbow knockout. That was one of the most vicious knockouts I've ever seen. Like, it was crazy. And this man's a savage. He's a samurai. I love the haircut. Without a doubt, one of the breakout fighters of the year. I cannot wait for him to fight Teixeira. This guy is absolutely amazing. I love me some Yuri Prochazka. And Reyes, like, I feel bad for Reyes, man.
Yeah, he's had a tough go.
Savages, the best of the best. I guess that's what happens when people say you beat John Jones, man. You only fight the top tier competition.
Yep, and that's the thing. Like, let's just say hypothetically Reyes wins that fight. The John Jones fight, okay? He would have been taking on a guy like Jiri Prochazka.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. When you get to that level, it's a whole new ball game. And but here's the thing, like I'm not trying to disrespect Reyes at all. I think he's a top 5 guy, unquestionably. Yeah. Even after the losses that he has suffered, because he's very competitive. He throws. He's just got to work on a few minor things, you know. But he's still there. He's still young. He's still relevant in this division. I'm glad he's taking some time off. You know, I don't even know if there's a fight scheduled with him still.
No,
I think he definitely's got to take some time off. But that fight was bonkers, off the wall. We were so hyped for that one too. You know, because we saw the superstar potential of Jiri Prochazka very early on when he came over from Ryzen right away. I know we were freaking out about it, his first fight coming back, and to see that's pretty cool. You know, for this year.
Yeah. Shout out to Alwan Doms. Shout out your new name, my guy. I haven't seen you before. A candidate for beatdown of the year. Holloway and Rodriguez is my fight of the year. Awesome. Shout out to you. Thank you for showing up. Go. Make sure you subscribe and like the video, man. All right. Number 2. My number 2 fight of the year is Gaity Chandler. It was so hard not to put this as number 1, but I'll get into number one later, why it is there. But Gaity Chandler. I think the only reason this one isn't number one is because in the third round, Gaethje was coasting.
Yeah.
And Chandler was kind of like just throwing his arms up, like telling him to come on. But those first 2 rounds were fucking incredible. Rounds
insane.
of the century, I would say. Rounds of the year. Like, I go back and watch that fight sometimes just because I'm bored. Yeah. Like, that's a fight I'll never forget right there. And that's the fight where, like, not a lot of fights that have that much hype end up actually living up to
the hype. That's the biggest
one
gripe. And it did. In every which way, every capacity, that fight lived up to the hype, unquestionably. So, that, just go ahead and get into your number one because mine and yours, number 1 and 2, are flip-flopped.
Okay, so my number 1 is Volkanovski Ortega. Yeah. That's my fight of the year. It has to be. It's because it was more competitive than Gaethje Chandler. Gaethje, I thought, won all 3 of those rounds. It is what it is there.
It is what it is.
Volkanovski Ortega, that was a 3-2, very tightly contested, close fight.
It was.
And Ortega taking Volkanovski's back, having the rear naked choke sunk deep. Deep. I don't know how he didn't submit Volkanovski there. Volkanovski is a complete fucking savage. He's probably the best 145-pounder we've ever seen. Yeah. I truly do believe that. I think he'll go down as the GOAT one day.
For him to get out of that. Like,
yes.
What the
He took his back and didn't get submitted against the greatest ground fighter we've seen at 145 pounds in a very long time.
Yeah, man.
It was insane.
I was live when I watched Ortega versus Swanson a few years ago, and I couldn't believe the grip Ortega had. And that was a standing choke, too. And he just put
even readjusted, too.
Yeah, even readjusted up there. He's one of the best submission practitioners in the UFC. But, dude, shout out to Volk, man. That heart and determination is nothing to fucking mess around with at all.
Mm-hmm. Savage on the feet.
Yeah.
That was a very tightly contested fight on the feet. Volkanovski ran away with it at the end. I know that, but it's just the level of competitiveness that was there. That's my fight of the year. Like, it can go back and forth with Gaethje Chandler, just like you said. I know you said they're flip-flop, but I mean, they were both fantastic fights. This was a very hard year to pick fight of the year, in my opinion.
It was, dude. This year was awesome, though. I'm glad it was so hard for us because, that's what I like. We're all fans. We all have different opinions. All Juan Doms had a different opinion than us for fight of the year. That's what makes it great as fans. Is like you can all kind of just go through your own awards and be like, yeah, this is here for this reason or that reason. But you and I are sitting here going, yeah, your pick could have been my pick. My pick could have been your pick. It's just, it is what it is. Like, what a great year for the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the greatest years of all time. I cannot wait for 2022, dude. Like, the fights they are announcing already, absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
I
we'll have to
wait.
jump into that.
Yeah,
at some point.
We're an hour deep, dude. I think we got to get into our preview show. Do you have anything to say about fight of the year, Devin, before we move on?
Once again, this has been like the hardest year for fight of the year, breakout fighter, submission KO. I mean, this is hard, but personally, it wasn't as competitive, but it just gets me hype every time I see it. Is the Max Holloway Gator fight?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just because
when Max was looking over at the booth,
smooth, good with it.
Dude, he was in the fucking Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, it's up like you would. I almost put the Chandler, Gaethje, how could we forget about the Sanhagen Yan or the Sanhagen Dillashaw? Both very competitive fights.
That should have been on the list. Sanhagen Yan, Sanhagen Dillashaw.
So
both
competitive.
Of those.
If we're going based off technical skills and whatnot, back and forth. How could we forget the Ortega, the TCD, and the Volk fight that you guys mentioned? But for me, it's got to be the Max Holloway Gator fight. I mean, just so smooth with it.
Entertaining.
So entertaining.
The amount of damage that man took that night was insane.
I mean,
insane.
Absolutely.
Crazy.